All right, we back. Motor City Sports Talk. Great time, only time to get this NBA stream in due to the NBA games getting ready to go down tonight. Ain't been watching a lot of NBA. I did peek at what the Pistons did last night. They looked pretty good in the first half. Fell apart, but we really don't want the Pistons to win at this point in the season, and this is a rebuild. All right, rebuilds are hard, but you won't really feel the grunt of a full season rebuild due to the optimism from a lot of fans this season. With a lot of the people that they acquired from people was hoping Reggie would be healthy, with Derrick Rose and Tony Snell and Markieff Morris. The team looked a lot better on paper. Looked like they had a lot better depth on paper, but it didn't articulate that way. People was hoping that Blake could get healthy. They mismanaged Blake Griffin. Stuff happens, but it won't be the worst rebuild because I can't say it will or it won't be, but hopefully they get high enough in the draft to get somebody exciting. We're gonna talk about that today. First, we're gonna get into paying Christian Wood now. Talk about the story about them possibly trying to bring back Spencer Dinwiddie and bringing back Spencer Dinwiddie. Also, some draft talk, a little bit of Derrick Rose talk as well. So I do appreciate everybody for checking in. It's not a lot of great things to talk about the Pistons right now. The Pistons are really going to get ramped up when the offseason get here. We get to talking more about the draft, more about free agency. We got some money to spend and who we should spend it on, and and then the offseason, and then Blake Griffin getting healthy, and maybe somebody possibly biting with Blake. So I mean, right now the Lions was popping out here because the NFL offseason is all about optimism. Everybody thinks they got a chance. In the NFL, you do because you won, lucky player in the draft. You one player get injured. NFL is more engaging because of the injuries that could happen, the players that you don't see getting good. This NFL one and done in the playoffs. So the NFL brings more probabilities of winning. NBA it never had a lot of parity, but let's get into it. Don't forget we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You also can reach out to the email at any time if you have a question, you want to chop it up, you got a video request, you have the business query, sponsorship, or video request. All the information is in the description. Just touch the title, hit the drop down box. Email and Twitter is the quickest way to get in touch with me. You can at me, DM me. I try to get back at you at my earliest convenience. You want to make a donation to the channel, Super Chat's open, but Cash App, PayPal information is in the description. Once again, best way to donate if you have it is to share the video, hit that subscribe button, bell icon button. 313 Hitman, what's going on? Greg, what's going on? Chef, what's going on? Cushion Mason, what's going on? So, Christian Woods, I think it's time to pay him like right now. I mean, what you waiting on? But one thing about it is draft position. If you pay Christian Woods, which is estimated that he gonna get $5 to $7 million on the market, I pay him now because 5 to 7 can't hurt you, right? And if you in position with the best player available, and I haven't looked at all the draftees, and the best player, Edwin, what's going on? If the best player available is James Wiseman, I mean, I think you okay with paying Christian Woods to be a backup or playing next to him. And Wiseman is athletic, rim defender. He kind of reminds you of, I think he left-handed, of Christian Woods. But Christian Woods is athletic enough to guard some threes. I think he got to get bigger to guard some classic fives, but those ain't. Andre and DeAndre Jordan are the really only classic fives out there, and I think Cat. But, I just think you pay him now. It just makes no sense. You give him what he want. I would go as high as $10 million a year. I mean, you got guys like Buddy Hield that's making a ton of money that ain't really that good, but then again, you pay Christian Woods and he fall off and he not as hungry. That is a possibility, but I'd rather him not being hungry and wasting 5 or 7 or 10 million on him than losing him in free agency because he hit the market. Even though it's a sense of loyalty to the Detroit Pistons because the Pistons have done well. You know what I'm saying? I get it. If I got a chance to play in Houston, which in this 2020 census, Houston should be the third, it may be the third largest city behind New York City and I think LA, and it was Chicago, but that's how big Houston is getting now. No state taxes, you know what I'm saying? Beautiful city, Houston. Boston might be, interested as well. Man, Boston ain't the best place for somebody of color, but hey, that's a conversation for another day. I'll pay him now. And maybe they just looking at him, during this four game West Coast trip. But I commit to him. 5-7 in today's NBA is absolutely nothing. I don't even let him think about hitting the market. I pay him now. I think, like Hitman said, the untouchables are Wood, Sayoko, and Malachi. And I got his name together because he hooping. And I learned anybody name I don't know once they start balling. Them the three I don't trade. But yeah, I pay Woods now. I mean, it makes no sense to wait. Now, if he trying to get 20, 25 million, he trying to get that Jaylen Brown and that Buddy Hield money, that ain't nothing I'm looking to do. But $5 to $7 million, I'll pay him quick. Real talk with DeJuan. Dante Hall, yeah, they just brought him up. But with Wood, it's the possibilities are limitless. And you kind of bring in Dinwiddie, and I kind of mix all this together. It's really not going to be on code. You kind of mix all this together because it all go hand in foot. If you trade for Spencer Dinwiddie, it's probably going to make you have to trade Derrick Rose and Luke Kennard. Now, the thing about Derrick Rose is a story that came out yesterday or 2 days ago that said that Derrick Rose won't be bought out, and the Pistons refused to trade Derrick Rose. At the trade deadline, the Lakers won him. The reason why Derrick Rose didn't get traded is his former agent is on like the board of trustees, whatever. He working with the Pistons, right? And I think he was also LaMarcus Aldridge's agent as well too. And a lot of people was hoping a few years ago he would have brought Aldridge to Detroit, but it didn't happen. But Derrick Rose told the Pistons that he's comfortable and he's happy being in Detroit, not because Detroit is winning. Not because Detroit was hot in these streets, because Detroit is close to Chicago. His nephew plays at the UD Mercy, Dwayne Rose. He wants to be close to Chicago. That's it. Derrick Rose don't care about winning. Derrick Rose care about playing, keeping that Adidas contract, feeding the family, and he care about being close to Chicago. Now, he's openly talked about wanting to return to Chicago when his Pistons contract up. Now, do you want to lose Derrick Rose for nothing? That's another conversation you can have. But if you do trade Derrick Rose, you do trade for Spencer Dinwiddie, it changes the aspect, the way you look at the draft. Now, people say, well, we shouldn't have got rid of him before. That's been the Pistons' Achilles heel. If you see my video, the Achilles heel of the Pistons been from Rick Carlisle, Larry Brown, Michael Curry, Maurice Cheeks, and so on, John Kuster. The Pistons historically haven't played young guys. All right, it's this unspoken rites of passage that you got to prove. No matter if you spend 1 year in college or 4 years in college, you got to prove that you play. They don't believe in throwing you in the fire. Amir Johnson. Tayshaun Prince is a great example. Tayshaun Prince was a guy that spent 4 years with Tubby Smith. Now, once upon a time, Tubby Smith was probably one of the most respected college coaches. I just don't think he evolved with time. Now, you can ask me my opinion on Mike Krzyzewski. I think Mike Krzyzewski is one of the dirtiest mofos in college basketball. He a huge cheat. I don't care what nobody say. Krzyzewski just continued to evolve with the cheating scandals, and that's just my opinion, not saying he did. Tubby Smith had too much integrity, but at one point, Tubby Smith was just as respected as, what's the dude that got kicked out from Louisville? Rick Pitino, Mike Krzyzewski. He was respected, he kind of respected like what Calipari is. Now, he was a very, very respected coach. And Tayshaun Prince stayed in Kentucky for 4 years. And the Pistons refused to play Tayshaun Prince, right? And this is a dude that's a grown man, mature, not one and done. I mean, Tayshaun Prince was a good player. He can get out there and defend. It didn't take the T-Mac almost put us out the playoffs. And yes, at one point, kids, T-Mac almost did make it out of neutral and make it out the first round. And I think his career would have been a lot greater had Grant Hill been healthy and the Pistons not grinded Grant Hill ankle to a bone. But once again, that's another story for another day. Like when Grant Hill put rims up around Detroit and Detroit tore the rims down And basically, Grant Hill was mad. Grant Hill was done with Detroit at that point. That's another story for another day, kids. But with Grant Hill, getting injured, T-Mac never really had a running mate. And Grant Hill was getting paid that money not to play. But T-Mac almost put us out the playoffs. They pulled Tayshaun Prince out in, I think it was a 5-game series at that point. They pulled him out when we was down I think it was 7 at the point. They pulled him out when we was down 3-1. And Tayshaun Prince completely shut down Tracy McGrady. Not even Milwaukee back then with Glenn Robinson and Ray Allen could shut him down. And he shut him down, and Tayshaun Prince really changed, he changed the trajectory of the Pistons. And, it's a gift and a curse, too, because Tayshaun never showed that he can play. Maybe they would have took Carmelo Anthony, which Ben Wallace believed they wouldn't have won the playoffs, and who would know better than, the biggest leader, the best leader we had in the last 20 years in Ben Wallace. But all that to be said, they just don't historically play young guys. A Flalo went somewhere else and flourished somewhere else. Middleton went somewhere and flourished somewhere else. And somebody brought this up. Well, at least I don't know where I was at, but we was talking about it. But somebody brought this up. At least, if we would have got a Flalo, if we would have kept Middleton, we would have had, at least we didn't pay him $130 million. Look here, man, we played Andre Drummond. I don't know what the fuck he was getting paid. We played Blake Griffin all this money not to play. I wouldn't have no issue paying Chris Middleton all that money because today's NBA is going towards guards and wings. And if you would have had Dinwiddie and Middleton, guarantee you would still have Andre Drummond, and Drummond would have been effective or as effective as he can be. Only reason Drummond is gone is because Blake Griffin was here and they can't move Blake Griffin. That's really what happened. So everybody mad at Drummond leaving. They had to because it didn't open up the cap. But had you kept Dinwiddie and Middleton, the Pistons would be way more competitive. Now I don't know if you still would have more Marcus Morris and Tobias Harris and all of them type of guys, but they would have been a good backcourt, long and all that. But the thing about bringing bringing Dinwiddie back, is then it changes. It changes your draft. And once you look at the top of the draft, and I haven't really gotten in details, another kid that's rising up the board at Dayton, it's a lot of point guards there. It's a lot of a combo guard, and that's the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Dinwiddie can play. Renardo, what's going on? Jay White, what's going on? Dinwiddie can play the 2, the 3 a little bit. He can guard the 3. He can probably play the 3 if you chose to. 2, LaMelo can play 2, 3, 1. Killian can probably do around the same. I didn't notice Cole Anthony was 6'3". He mostly a 1. Edwards is a combo guard. He really strong too. His body kind of puts you in the mindset of Rodney Stuckey. He reminds me a lot of Rodney Stuckey in the way he gets to the rim and how strong he is. Not saying that he gonna be a bust like Rodney Stuckey. I thought Stuckey had a lot of ability. It just didn't work, whatever reason it was. But Edwards is a really good player, and it would change. It would change on what you would do because in this draft it's a lot of ones. That's gonna be in the top 7. I mean, you talking about Cole Anthony, Killian Hayes. You talking about LaMelo, and you know what I'm saying. Edwards is a 2. He may go number 1. So it's a lot of ones there. You know what I'm saying. So bringing in Spencer Dinwiddie, you want him to be a 1. That's when he's effective. Could you make LaMelo into a 2? Absolutely. But the thing about it is, you don't really want to you don't really want to force a young player to change his game that young. That's somebody you have to work with. But, bringing Dinwiddie back, you will give up assets probably in later drafts to get them. If you picking in a position to get LaMelo or Cole or Killian or Edwards, you're not giving up nothing. But I will give up a future draft pick and whatever I had to get Dinwiddie, but then you got to pay him. So that's kind of the gift and the curse there. You know what I'm saying? Can we get somebody close to Chauncey? Chauncey didn't have the greatest start to his career. So I don't know if you want. I mean, I guess you want to finish Chauncey. The reason Chauncey was so good here is that he had great mentors in Rick Carlisle and Larry Brown. So, as far as the guards, I like them all. I like them all so far. Obviously, history tells us somebody gonna be a flop, but I get there. So as far as Dinwiddie, I'm all for it. You got to be prepared to give up future compensation. But Dinwiddie, they trying to trade Dinwiddie and some other guys in Brooklyn for a third star. And you think about Blake Griffin. If you could somehow nurse Blake Griffin up to health and get him to play good in the first half of next season, maybe you put Blake to Brooklyn, you get Dinwiddie, and you make the contracts work, and they go KD, Blake, and Kyrie. But then again, they'd be the most injury-prone team in the league. So you're looking at that, and you also looking at aspects to get rid of Blake Griffin as well too. That's the issue. So with Dinwiddie, great start. He definitely part of a rebuild. It makes no. He gonna have to pay him soon, I would believe. But he definitely is a good building block to rebuild. I mean, you look at the length already. You say you got the shooter in Malachi. If he gonna be like Vinny Johnson, he could be like Vinny off the bench. Shout out to Vinny. Vinny made like $9 million in his NBA career. Now he worth $500 million. So come on, that's crazy, right? So shout out to Vinny Johnson. But if you bring Dinwiddie in, and you can Sayelko, Diombo, however you say his name, it's gonna be a couple years. All right, look for him to make a contribution probably about a hard contribution in about 2 years. But eventually his length with Dinwiddie length, and if you're able to add, like I said, Killian, let's just say at worst, his length, that's the way the NBA is going. You look at Milwaukee, it's length all the way around. You got Woods in the back end. In Milwaukee, you got Brook Lopez. You got Giannis. You got Middleton. The shortest dude out there, probably the shortest arm dude out there is Eric Bledsoe. And if Eric Bledsoe, and I know this ain't a Milwaukee channel, but if Eric Bledsoe ever reaches potential, Milwaukee would win the NBA championship easy. No matter if the Clippers at their best, no matter if the Lakers if Eric Bledsoe play up to his potential and do with his contract that he got in the middle of last year, say he do, Milwaukee easily win the championship. I'm talking like if the NBA didn't rig it like some 4-1 type stuff. But if it was the fifth, the majority of us right now would be drunk. Real talk. But you want a long team. You know what I'm saying? And with Wood in the back, I would anticipate Thon Maker probably not be here next year. Tony Snell, 1 more year. He going to be a trading chip. Langston won't be back probably next year. And Bruce Brown, a lot of people don't like Bruce Brown, but once again, that's a 2nd round pick, good defense. He more of a point guard. You know what I'm saying? And Dwayne Casey said, well, we want him to be more of a 2. Once again, it's all about management and coaching. He's a 1. However you look at it, that kid is a 1. He could defend 1s and 2s, but he at his best when he's setting dudes up and he orchestrating the offense. Dwayne Casey don't want him to be a 1 because he can't shoot. But eventually, that's something that you develop. Once upon a time, people didn't call Jason Kidd. They call him Asen Kidd because he couldn't shoot. And eventually, Bruce Brown will eventually learn how to shoot. I believe in him. So I would like Bruce Brown to be the backup point guard, and he'd be a good defender. So I like Bruce Brown. I may be in the minority because people so enamored with if you can't shoot, you no good in the league. Bullshit. Jason Kidd made a living off of the setting dudes up, defending, shutting down, or attempting to shut down a young Kobe. Go look at some of them Phoenix Lakers series. He did a good job on Kobe, even though Kobe hit the game winner on blind here at Jason Kidd. But yeah, I like Bruce Brown. I mean, that's one of the dudes I would prefer to stay because he can defend, and he can set up some dudes. So, like I said before, I like him. His defense, you got Sayoko, he gonna be a good defender. Dinwiddie, he can defend if you can bring him back. But the rebuild it's a lot of possibilities. But one guy I don't like is Fred VanVleet because he's short. And once again, it's another guy that's a tweener. You know what I'm saying? You look at Brandon Ingram. They may not sound Brandon Ingram back, no matter if he's an all-star or not, because he may not be so productive with Holiday and Lonzo and Zion. So Brandon Ingram is probably the only dude right now, if Anthony Davis don't hit the market, which I don't envision us getting Anthony Davis, is that I will offer all my money to. I would max out Brandon Ingram as long as he's healthy, the blood clots is good. That's a good guy because he can get his own shot. He can kind of be his own point guard. He a good leader. He gonna get stronger. So that if you were thinking about free agency, That's the last guy that I'm maxing out is Brandon Ingram. But let's go through the chat. Pelicans are stupid if they don't pay him. Franchises like that are cheap, but I get it. I do. LaMelo will be my pick. Jay White. Can we say Joe D was ahead of the curve looking at what he wanted out of Rodney Stuckey, a point guard that could score? Yeah, exactly. That's what probably Joe D envisioned himself was. Just Rodney Stuckey, like somebody said in the chat, he was a victim of bad coaching. Like I said before, the Pistons have destroyed a lot of great young guys. I agree with that. The crisis. He said, "Can we get something close to Chauncey?" I answered that. Renardo, what's going on? I got to see more of Dante Hall. Yeah, me too. I said we need a point guard in the draft. I would keep and pay Luke Kennard and Christian Wood. I don't think Dante can be a backup center for us next year. I wouldn't pay Luke Kennard. I can't pay nobody that haven't proven to be healthy. Just can't pay him. Luke Kennard just got to go somewhere else. I don't believe I wouldn't pay him. I would keep Malachi. I would never play. What Luke Kennard gonna be looking for is what KCP wanted. So I remember the 03 series with T-Mac. If Dennis Rodman to be Bulls player, and Derrick Rose could retire with the Pistons. I'm for bringing Spinner back, but not over $15 million. He's definitely gonna get over that because his stats say that if he was a full-time starter without Kyrie Irving messing up his vibe, that he would be an all-star this year. That's what they say. So he gonna get that Buddy Hield, Jaylen Brown money. Watch what I say. I agree with what you said, Drummond. I really like Wood. He's a stretch 4-5. Yeah. Hellborson or Obio as far as the draft. You talking about that kid from Dayton? I ain't seen a lot of him. I gotta check him out. But yeah. But when you looking at it though, I guess a lot of people. I don't know what the affection is with Luke Kennard. He just, like I said, he just don't do it for me. He can't defend. He another tweener. He just ain't aggressive enough. Now that Reggie gone, he probably gonna be more aggressive, but he can't stay healthy. So what am I paying him for? You gonna have the same decision to make with him you made with Caldwell Pope, and that's the best decision Stan Van Gundy made for the Pistons. Was getting rid of Caldwell Pope. And we see Caldwell Pope is just a bridge guy. I know it's going to be a lot of people that are wary about drafting Anthony Edwards out of Georgia due to Georgia not having good players, but he stayed at home. The Pelicans got to play Ingram. Yeah, I would believe so, but why not pay him now? You know what I'm saying? Don't even let it get to it. I think he may be restricted. Is Bradley Beal a possibility? I doubt it. They sticking with Bradley Beal. He just signed an extension. He crying on the bench and stuff, but he didn't like John Wall. A lot of people on that. A lot of them people in Washington didn't like John Wall. John Wall didn't want to let Bradley Beal handle the ball. It's gonna be interesting. He may be available if John Wall come back because him and John Wall, look it up. They had a lot of spats on that bench, so he is a possibility. If John Wall come back and piss him off, but he just signed a long-term deal. But I wouldn't say so. He said we need a point guard, but if Wiseman, Edwards, or Wiley's on the board, we got to get them first. I mean, yeah, if you believe that they are better talent, yeah, you want to take talent over need. But if you bring back Dinwiddie, then you wouldn't need a point guard. But the thing about the three of the guys on the screen, Killian, LaMelo, and Edwards, they all can play too. So from Washington, they all can play the two. So, point guard is a must on the team. But if they don't bring back Dinwiddie, of course, they got to get a point. But they don't really have to get anything at this point. Let me say that. They can build it however they want to build it with the best player. It's a rebuild. Andre Drummond no longer here. So he can do. They can do however they want to do it. If they believe Wiseman is the best, Obi is the best, they believe, Cole Anthony is the best. Whoever they can build it however they want to build it. But I will tell you, LaMelo Ball is of Trae Young. He is of Luka. He's a Steph Curry baby. Steph Curry, that's his child. These are Steph Curry children. Luka, Trae, the way they play the game and shoot the ball, that's Steph Curry style. Steph Curry has impacted the NBA more than, LeBron did, as far as he's revolutionized how it's played. You know what I'm saying? And people and LeBron James fans get in their feelings over that. But it's okay. It don't mean that Steph Curry better than LeBron. I mean, Allen Iverson, and I get back to Pistons talk. Allen Iverson is my favorite player of all time. All right? But Allen Iverson impact on the NBA was greater than like anybody else not named Bird, Magic, Wilt, and Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Remember Jordan? Jordan made the baggy pants cool. Then Chris Webber and them took it, and they took it to another level. But Jordan had his impact too. But everything that Allen Iverson did for the league, as far as dress code and how he played, when people say I'm tired or I can't play this many games, Iverson was doing that shit at 6', 175 pounds. Let me tell you something about the history of the NBA. When you talk about guards that took their team to the finals and was the best player on their team, bar none, point guards. Isaiah Thomas and Allen Iverson are the two. Jerry West had Wilt. You know what I'm saying? That's true. Magic Johnson had Kareem, but Magic was a big-ass guard. He was more like a center or a small forward. Isaiah and Allen Iverson, John Stockton had Karl Malone. You know what I'm saying? You keep going on and on. You know what I'm saying? Iverson and Zeke were the 2 point guards. Zeke was both. Iverson was both. But they were 2 of the smaller guards or 2 of the point guards that really was the best player. Isaiah didn't have another top 50 player on his team at the time. Chauncey Billups wasn't of that. Chauncey Billups had Rip, he had Tayshaun, he had Rasheed, he had Ben Wallace. It was hard to tell who was the best player on the Pistons. Isaiah was the absolute leader. It was no doubt about it. Adrian Dantley was a really good ball player. You know what I'm saying? But obviously we know what happened. Well, some of y'all are probably too young, but Adrian Dantley wanted to be the man. Adrian Dantley is probably a forgotten ball player, and that's a video I may do on my other channel. But no, Chauncey was nowhere near on Isaiah's level as a player. But Joe Dumars was good. He didn't get his credit, and a lot of other guys. Dennis Rodman is perhaps the greatest all-around defender in NBA history, but we venturing off. But at the end of the day, I get what people say we need a point guard, but at this point, you get it how you live. You get best player available, and you just not. It's not a Rubik's Cube. Everything don't have to be perfect. You don't have to get, we got to get like the Lions and shit. When people say, well, we got to get this first, that first. Necessarily, NBA team ain't built like that. You get the best of talent you can, and you fill it in. You see how the OKC did it. It was Kevin Durant, Westbrook, James Harden, then Ibaka. They filled it in. But if they can get Dinwiddie, Dinwiddie don't want to be there regardless. Him and Kyrie don't mesh. Now, Karras mess with them. Because Karras can defend and he can play off of both of them and he can lead. So, like I said, Derrick Rose will be involved in that trade. I'm telling you, he has to be. Luke Kennard is going to be involved in that trade. Well, I don't per se mean the Lions. I mean NFL, excuse me, how you build an NFL team. NFL is you build the trenches and then you go to the skill positions or then you go to the linebackers, the DBs. You build it from the front end to the back. So that's what I kind of meant. But with the Pistons, anything is fair game. Look at the draft. There's a lot of good talent. If you look at NCAA basketball, I was watching Michigan State yesterday, and they just edged Iowa. And I was watching Duke. They got beat by like NC State or whoever it was of the week. And it's a lot of parity in NCAA. You know what I'm saying? It's like, every week some top team loses, so it's a lot of good ball players there. UNC got a lot of good players, but they got a losing record. Duke got a lot of good players, but they getting their ass bust every other week. Baylor got a good team. So when you talking about the draft, once you get to March Madness, it's gonna be 1 or 2 or 3 players that's gonna rise up the draft board. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see a lot of things change. And also, you got to remember, it's not like the NFL draft with the worst record and get a particular spot. So whatever the Pistons sitting at now, it was 7 a few weeks ago. You know, it don't mean they're gonna be 7th in the draft. They could be a lot lower. They could be a lot higher. They could be right at 7. They could be at 6. So they pick as they pick. So it's not protected. You know what I'm saying? They pick is absolutely they pick. So at the end of the day, you know, people get mad at the Andre Drummond thing, but it had to happen. Now, if you could move Blake, that would be great, but it had to happen. So now they got a fresh restart. They got a fresh rebuild. They can get a guard. They can get a center. They can get a forward. They can get a wing. They got cap flexibility. The only thing that I worry about, in my opinion, the only thing I worried about is leadership. I worry about, you know, who's going to be making these decisions. I believe Ed Stefanowski is prepping up Derrick Rose. So, but I do give him credit for this. Whoever convinced Tom Gores that it's time to rebuild, they convinced him. So hopefully the Pistons get a good pick, and we know the NBA sometimes rig that. So hopefully they get a good pick. So tell me, boy, what's going on? And if they do get somebody exciting here, and they are able to pull off a Dinwiddie, they won't miss a beat. You know what I'm saying? They'll be what they were this year. Last year at minimum. At minimum what they are this year. You know, the Bulls is a team you look at when you're talking about rebuilding that scares you, because the Bulls should be a 7th or 6th seed right now. I mean, you look at what the Bulls got. They got Chris Dunn. They got Kobe White, who on a tear. They got Lauri Markkanen. They got Wendell Carter. I mean, the Bulls but the Bulls have been a terrible team other than the Jordan era. And for kids that don't know how the Jordan era ended, the Jordan era ended because of, I think it was Jerry Cross wanted to fire Phil Jackson. And Michael Jordan said, if you do that, I'm leaving. That's what happened. So that's why you didn't see the Spurs or the Knicks get a chance to knock off the Lakers. To knock off the Bulls. The Bulls, Michael Jordan just didn't say, I quit because I want to finish on top. Michael Jordan quit because the Bulls management sucked. And to this day, before Jordan got there, after Jordan got there, if the Bulls was number 2 or number 1 in that draft, they would have ended up with Hakeem or Sam Bowie. It was at number 3. Jordan turned that team around. Shannon Sharp come out here, and not to make it a bull string, I'll switch up real quick. But Shannon Sharp come out here and say, oh, Jordan got pushed out the playoffs this many times. It was him and Craig Hodges. Like, before that, the Bulls was nothing without Jordan. Like, after Jordan 2, with Eddie Curry and Tyson Chandler, other than the small window they had with Ben Gordon and Derrick Rose and Joakim and Lou Dang, and Jordan, the Bulls have absolutely been nothing because their ownership and their management have been terrible. Nothing. When I say nothing, Jordan took a team that had the number 3 pick in the draft, and they became an instant playoff team, bro. And I don't even like Michael Jordan. That ain't never been one of my favorite players. I hated Jordan any real Detroit Piston fan hated Jordan. Now, we still rock the shoes and the gear, but any real Piston fans hated Jordan. And what else already understood ain't got to be explained. We hated him. But the Bulls management sucked. If the Lions was an NBA team and they management it'd be the Bulls. But Jordan was good enough that, like I said, I seen Jordan do some special stuff. Jordan was a bad boy. You know, he came off a Liz Frank injury, that's a broken foot, and he came back and dropped 63 on Bird head. But no air conditioning. LeBron with no air conditioning, he getting tired. But real Piston fans hated Jordan. But hating somebody and respecting them is two different things. Jordan is probably the baddest ball player I've seen. You know, I've seen some good ones. You know, Earl Monroe, Nate Tiny Archibald, Adrian Dantley, George Gervin from Detroit. They were some good ball players. You know, people that people forget. Spencer Haywood from Detroit, great ball player. There been some. You talking about some forgotten ball players that can play that kids don't know about. Pete Maravich, bad white boy. Jerry West, he was good. Will Chamberlain, perhaps, when you talking about the greatest ball players of all time, Wilt and Kareem got to be right there with Jordan. Bill Russell was really good. I can go through the 90s and name you some really good ball players, man. That Mark Price, Terrell Brandon before the injury, Tom Gugliotta before the injury. It was, man, NBA, Brad Daughtry, Larry Nance Sr. It was some good ball players. Stephon Marbury. Killian Martin was really good in college in Cincinnati. He was okay in the league. Man, the NBA had premier talent back in the day. Premier talent, man. Ray Allen was really good. It was a lot of great players, man. Larry Johnson was really good before the injury. Shawn Kemp. Whew. Man, I watched the NBA yesterday. I tried to watch it. It's just nothing like watching it as a kid. But back on Pistons. But with the Pistons, they in a good position. Clear cap. You know what I'm saying? They gonna have a good pick of the litter in the draft. It's a good draft up top. Kyrie Thomas was called back up. King Amir was called back up. So we should be seeing him make his Piston debut from the G League and from an injury. So I've been asking what's been going on. A lot of people in the chat kept telling me he had a lower body injury. So we gonna get a taste of him. So right now, a lot of dudes auditioning for a spot on the team, or Christian Wood's auditioning for a contract. And I like where we at. I'm more optimistic about the Pistons and where they at now than I was at any point in the last 7 to 10 years, because there's no more trying to throw something together. You know what I'm saying? I think they're at the point where patience, and I think this rebuild, depending on how good the next 2 drafts are, I think this rebuild is going to be very, very very good and exciting. I think next year might be the hardest year. But if Dayumbo progresses and gets stronger, and they get an exciting guard, I think the Pistons is going to be exciting, but bad. But it's kind of like the Afro or the Locks phase. You know what I'm saying? And when I say the Afro, like when you starting off your Afro or your Locks and they look ugly and at the ugly phase, that's what it's gonna look like. I think next year it's gonna be the ugly phase. But I think after next year, they're gonna be exciting. I think you're gonna see Dayumbo. He gonna be stronger. Hopefully they keep Wood. He gonna get better. Malachi gonna get better. Bruce Brown gonna get better. You're gonna see a lot of young guys, and they gonna continue to draft guys. Now, my dream is I got a dream like Martin had a dream. My dream is to get Imani Bates. Now, we got about 3 years until that can happen. Now, if you don't know who Imani Bates is, he plays out there at Ypsilanti Lincoln. He is the number 1 player in all of high school basketball as a sophomore. That's my dream, but that probably ain't going to happen. And he seemed to have a good head on his shoulders where he can handle the hometown situation, but it ain't going to happen. But they're going to go through an ugly phase where they're going to be good, and they're going to be exciting. They're going to be bad next year, but they're going to be exciting progressing next year. And they're going to be exciting losers, and they're going to be exciting losers, and then they're going to be exciting loser contenders. Then they're going to be exciting 8th, 7th seed, and then at that point, when you put so many young pieces together, they're going to fill it out with veterans. So, yeah, so Blake Griffin is not going to affect what we do. You know what I'm saying? As far as financially, he'll be there to water the plants. And when he be there to water the plants, if they bring in LaMelo, Edwards, whoever, RJ Hampton, Obi, whoever the guy y'all talking about, if they bring in those type of guys, he'll be there to give veteran advice. He'll be there to guard them on and off the court. Him, Tony Snell, Derrick Rose, if he stick around, they'll be there to nurture those guys, get them some miracle growth, and then eventually Blake is going to go somewhere else, finish his career off, and this team is going to take off. They're going to get these veterans, and they're going to fill them in. So, So, the rebuild phase hopefully is good, but then again, you got to draft the right way. And I think one of the concerns about LaMelo Ball is his daddy. Okay? His daddy just relaunched Big Baller Brand. And one of the things that I noticed about him relaunching Big Baller Brand, and I'm going to address LaMelo. It's a lot of people that's on the fence about LaMelo Ball. His daddy relaunched Big Baller Brand, right? It's some stuff that happened where Alan Foster, and it's a lot of legal stuff, right? Lonzo is not on Big Baller Brand's website, neither is LaMelo. Now, LaMelo has been offered a big apparel contract, a shoe contract, where they gonna give him the access to a private jet. Lonzo Ball told LaMelo basically not to mess with Big Baller Brand. Okay? He told LaMelo not to mess with Big Baller Brand. So, LaMelo said he riding it down with his daddy, but right now, he ain't on the website. So, LaMelo may go Nike, Adidas, and if that's the case, you're not going to hear from LeVar in Detroit, no way. You don't hear LeVar talking that stuff in New Orleans. So, LeVar want to stay in L.A. LeVar don't want to be cold. LeVar don't want to deal with it. So, I think LeVar learned his lesson about putting a lot of expectations and pressure on Lonzo, that you won't worry about that LaMelo. But when you talk about LaMelo game is tailor-made to the Steph Curry era of basketball. He can play make, he can shoot it, he can score it. He got deep range. I think Dwayne Casey would be a great coach for him if they choose to keep him. But, yeah, I'm all in on him. I believe in the talent. I believe the baby is usually the best one. I like him. You know what I'm saying? But we'll get there. Cole Anthony, another legacy. Greg Anthony is his son. You know what I'm saying? Greg Anthony, that's his son. Excuse me. Hopefully I put that the right way. So, Cole Anthony can play. He dealt with some injuries so far this season, but he another explosive guard. I didn't realize he was 6'3". His daddy was around 6'3". Killian Hayes, his daddy is he was born in Lakeland, Florida, grew up in France. That's where his daddy had a career at. So, he already know what it's like to be a pro basketball player. James Wiseman, we all know his story. Took some money from Penny Hardaway. Before Penny was the coach, Penny was considered a booster. He was told to pay back the money. He left the NCAA because where you gonna get $20,000, $10,000 from? He left, so he there. Anthony Edwards, he a Georgia guy. Went to Georgia University because he would stay home. He got a kid already. Really strong guy. Like I said, he remind you of Rodney Stuckey in the body. Good player. So Arjun Hampton, another guy. Kid from Dayton, another guy. So you got a lot of different guys out here. So it's a good draft. If the Pistons can get in the top 6 or 7, they can creep up to 2 or 3. It'll be nice. So I'm very optimistic on the way they're going. I think Ed Stefanowski is competent enough to make the right choices. I don't think he's gonna pass up for a Carmelo, for a Darko. So I like the way the Pistons are kind of flowing. You know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you, it's gonna be the Afro Locks phase where you're gonna go through an ugly phase to get to your beautiful fro or your beautiful long lock. So you're gonna go through that phase with all rebuilds. But the Pistons gonna be young. They're gonna be exciting. And when you were the 8th seed this time, that's not gonna be the ceiling. That's just gonna be the floor. And can't wait to see it. And the way the Eastern Conference is shaked out, Giannis is going to be on top for a while. And this talks about Giannis possibly going out to Golden State. You can look that stuff up. Golden State might be trying to get Giannis. I don't know how that's going to fit. But when you look at the East, there's really nobody that's key. LeBron about to come down. Kawhi built like a China doll. He going to break down in Wild West. You're going to see a change in the guard in the NBA. I think out West, you looking at... You probably going to look at the Sacramento Kings to be one of those up-and-coming teams. Phoenix. It's going to be a minute. But the Pistons going to be right there with them. Chicago, if they have better management. So the Pistons going to be exciting. Best case scenario, you hope we like Oklahoma City with KD, Russ, Harden, Serge Ibaka. You know what I'm saying? Worst case scenario, you probably feeling like Phoenix, or you feel like Phoenix, where Which the Pistons wouldn't do another Ayton type of guy. Ayton is a dinosaur. In Booker, you in that kind of scenario. Middle scenario is, Markelle Fultz, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Nerlens Noel. That's kind of the scenario, one of the middle scenarios you can be in. But I think they're gonna be in a great position. I think Stefanowski is competent enough. Rose been around the league, won the championships. I trust him a lot more, and then I trust the Lions. I mean, if I had to give you a list of Detroit teams that I trusted the front office, I would trust Wiseman the most with the Wings. And then second of all, I would trust Stefanowski. Third, I would then trust Tigers and Alex Avila Daddy. And then last, I would trust the Lions right now. So, facts telling me what's going on. I would trust them, but in that order, I trust Wiseman. Shit. He said the ping pong works in our. I hope the ping pong works in our way. I mean, yeah, it ain't gotta be perfect in y'all way. I mean, you did see Trae Young and Luka Doncic, get picked. Was that 4th and 5th? I think Marvin Bagley went ahead of them. I forgot who was. DeAndre Ayton went ahead of them. So, if you get in that 4 or 5 range, I think you would be okay. I mean, remember when Markelle Fultz, Lonzo Ball, and then after them it was Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell went later in that draft. I still like Josh Jackson. He a Detroit product. He just came back into the league. He had some issues in South Florida with some with the police. I really like him as well too. So it's been some good drafts late. Hopefully it continue to have some good drafts. He said any good forwards in the top of the draft. Yeah, there's some other guys out there. Let me read them off to you. Let me read them off to you. Let me read them off to you. Give me 1 minute. It's a guy from Dayton. I ain't really looked at him yet, but he flying up the draft boards. Hold on. Let me pull it up. So I mean, they got this. This is updated 4 weeks ago. They got Wiseman, Edwards, LaMelo, Killian Hayes, Tyrese Hilbert, a point guard from Iowa State. He's 6'5", so I got to learn about him. They got the Pistons taking some dude out of Maccabi Tel Aviv, Denny Avdija. I don't know about him. Gotta look him up. Okongwu, a power forward center from USC. Cole Anthony, Isaac Okoro from Auburn, Nico Mannion. He would look like Chase Budinger. Obi from Dayton, the power forward. They got him going 11th. RJ Hampson. I mean, you got a lot of forwards and guards in there, man. Josh Green from Arizona. Precious from Memphis. They got a lot of different guys. This gonna change, but you got a lot of point guards, a lot of shooting guards. The dude from Nico, he looked just like Chase Budinger. Didn't Chase Budinger go to Arizona too? What happened to Chase Budinger? For real. Well, yeah. A lot of these dudes got Malachi Flynn. Is he a guard or forward? Let me look him up. They ain't even got him on here. Malachi Flynn. Hold on, maybe I overlooked him. Yeah, they ain't got him on here. Let me look him up. 1 second. Oh, he's a guard. Gotta be 6'1" from Tacoma. He played at Washington State. San Diego State, excuse me. He must have went to Washington State because he got a Washington jersey on. Yeah, I ain't heard him. He a beast too. Okay, I gotta check him out. They got a few white guys that's a beast. Him, Nico. Hold on. A few beasts in there. So yeah, any questions? I'll take a few questions. Real talk. So yeah, he ain't even on the one I just looked, but they ain't. I go to another one. This one just stupid long. So a lot of these ain't been updated. See another one I'm seeing names I didn't see on the other one. So yeah. He's a transfer. Yeah. Okay, I know Chase Bud. Yeah, he look like that Nico kid. Do like Chase Budinger. Chase plays volleyball now. Oh, okay. He ain't making it in the NBA. For sure, he didn't make it in the NBA. OBJ topping, flying up. Yeah, he is. They talking about he making the case for as the number one player in the draft. So yeah, they got him at 11 4 days ago. And I mean, this ain't no big publication. Obi a power forward, but I would put him at small forward. You don't see a lot of good ball players coming out of Dayton. I remember the kid from Renaissance went there. Paul, I think his name was Paul, a few years ago. So a lot of kids in this area, they go to Duquesne's, they go to what's the school in Chicago? Man, I'm gonna tell you the name of the school in Chicago. Some kids go there too. Not Duquesne's is another one. DePaul. You know what I'm saying? A lot of kids go, Dayton, DePaul, Cincinnati. Usually these schools, other school down there in Ohio's another one. Cleveland State, um, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They all recruit here. Some kids go to UAD, so Loyola, yep. So they all kind of recruit this area, man, and yeah. But yeah, any more Piston questions? I'll take them. You got any question? I'll take them at this point. But yeah, a lot of they love to recruit this area. It's like a lot of talent in Detroit. You go back looking over the days. I mean, from Steve Smith. I mean, Keith Appleton. I feel that Tom Izzo hurt him, but I mean, you had the kid Dewan from back when the Porous was open. I mean, Kalen Lucas, Cassius Winston now. I mean, Monty Morris, Kyle Kuzma, even though they're not from Detroit. They were in the area. Devin Booker, Josh Jackson was from the Detroit area. So it's a lot of talent here, man. I think it's a lot of opportunity to get in trouble. But Jordan Crawford, he went here. He was from CMA. I remember the day they broke his leg when he played Frederick Douglass. He ended up going to a military school. So yeah, Wiseman would be great on our team with Woods and Griffin, but that's a nice lineup. But yeah, I agree. But a lot of people gonna say we need a point guard. But like I said, if you believe he the best, he the best. You know what I'm saying? You got to take him how you get him. But it's a real point guard heavy draft too. You can hate me now, McKenzie. You can even trade back into the draft. In the draft, you can get a guy like they told the kid from Malachi Flynn. You can trade up and get him, or you can always trade for Spencer Dinwiddie. Okay, I'm gonna check you. I'm gonna unhide you right now. I got you. Give me 1 minute. Give me a minute. I'm gonna see if I can. I wonder why I ain't see you over there. I ain't got you hit. Somebody else probably hit you. Yeah, give me 1 minute. I'm keep it the question. I'm trying to get you now. Gotta get your URL because I ain't going through all them names. On my other channel, I got like there's 1,000 people blocked on that channel, bro. I can't even get to it. So I'm gonna block you right now. But yeah, he said our whole team needs a good weight gaining program this off season. Rose fumbling himself too. Yeah, that's a tricky thing to put weight on Rose. I just think Rose is getting a little tired. So it's a long season. It's a real long season. It's a real long season. So he said it's not a problem with grabbing all around good talent. They traded them off on some bogus. See, that's why they had to buy back Brandon Knight. Yeah, Brandon Knight gonna be a rental. You ain't gonna see him again. I'll tell you that right now. You are not going to see Brandon Knight again. Probably have to, unless they feel the need to bring him back. I ain't gonna really trip over myself like that, but I think he just was a contract. You know, he may not be in the league next year. For real. He said, "Yeah, we need to draft Tyrese Halliburton. Where do you play at?" He said, "Do you think we should keep Bruce Brown? He cannot make a layup and constantly making turnovers." Well, that's part of being a young guard. You know, you look at the turnover ratio for a lot of primary ball handlers, and uh, I think at that point you gotta I think you gotta bring him back. He too good defensively. I think he need to get a floater going, and once he get a floater going, I think it should be, and then he eventually get it. But yeah, I mean, he too valuable. But you know, if they did get rid of him, they get rid of him. I don't think it's something to cry about. But I think he still got potential. But we'll see what Kyrie Thomas brings to the table as well too. It's gonna be a couple games till he get his feet wet, and if he able to get his feet wet, he should be all right. So yeah, I will keep him. He's just too young to write off. But shout out to Big Rich 313. He said Arc 7X Angel said they need to either Killian Hayes or Theo Maladon from France in the draft and explore moving Rose for value. Now I haven't heard about the France dude. I gotta check him out. But I like Killian. His dad played pro over there, and he was born in Florida, but his dad had a career in France. He said, "I feel like the depth in the draft is not as good as the depth last year's draft." I mean, we got to see. You know, it's still premature, but it's good at the top, though. For sure. It's good at the top. Why try to rehab the team? I think the front office needs some rehabilitation. Yeah, obviously they need a general manager. But Stefanowski pulling the strings. Killian and LaMelo are the two top point guards in this draft, in my opinion. You don't like Cole Anthony neither? Just get your opinion on that. DMR. Blame the management for loving Stuckey so much. We gave up a Flalo, Middleton, and Spencer just to build around Stuckey. Yeah, and Stuckey just couldn't stay healthy. I like this game. How much cap room we got next year? Because I'm not giving Fleet the max. Keep hearing no. I'm not. He got 40 million. They got just under 40 million, 39.9. I'm not bringing Van Fleet here. Van Fleet too short. You know, I wouldn't give him half of that. What team you see making noise in the tournament? I ain't been watching a lot of basketball. I've been just getting into college now. I don't know. It just seemed like shit. Baylor just got beat by Kansas. Michigan State been fumbling around. Shit, I don't even know what's going on in the Big Ten. So I got to watch a little bit more. But Duke, Kansas, Baylor. They look pretty solid. I watched them the most this year. I don't like Cole Anthony. Okay. He look explosive, you know, when I seen him, but I don't know how he looking in college. But Dad, real smart dude, man. Real smart dude. But yeah, I'm not paying no damn Fred VanVleet, man. Hell no. I was watching a little bit of that game yesterday with the Bucks. Giannis starting to shoot the ball pretty good. We gonna be in trouble. Also, Casey needs to stop the Sayoko at the 4 experiment. Sayoko is a perimeter player. More so Paul George, not Siakam. Like Casey seems to believe that, coupled with the fact that Wood is a power forward, not a center. And in today's league, Wood is a center. He can play both, but yeah, I mean, he's just trying to get a feel for Diombo. I mean, I just think he's just trying stuff. I think it's experiment. That's why you're seeing Thon play so much. They trying to do their due diligence before they trash Thon Maker as well too. So that's something to look at. The Big Ten tournament starting to pretty soon. Okay, I'm definitely out the loop. Wait a minute, I'm tripping. I see like 40 heads in this chat, but only 12 thumbs up. Yeah, hit the thumbs up button. Appreciate it. Bizendon. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm terrible at it. Tone Capone. He said, I just want to draft a player that's already understands the payroll is where their glory is. Man, we a skinny team. Tony, we look like the all hunger team. 50 cent a day. 50 cent a day to feed our players. Yeah, we hella skinny from Thon, from Tony. I mean, shit. Remember Kevin Willis? He was from Detroit too. He was strong as shit. Another point guard that's nice is Peyton Pritchard. You should check him out. He's probably not a lottery pick, but he can shoot. Okay. Who he play at? Check him out. DB. I'm gonna call you DB then. That's how we're gonna rock it out. That dude, we do got a skinny team, bro. Drummond and Blake Griffin was our only real girth though. And Reggie, but Reggie was always injured. He might as well have been a skinny dude. See, I don't know, it's like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander was great in speed, lockdown defense as well. I like Gilgeous. I like both him and his cousin Nikhil down there in New Orleans. It's gonna be him, and he played for Oregon. Remember Tawan Porter from Renaissance played at Oregon. Yeah, I seen him play in high school. Oregon got Nike behind. If they wasn't in Oregon, if Oregon was in New York City and they had Nike behind Oregon, probably had every recruit in the game. They got a dope football facility. The athletic basketball facility is good too. He said Oregon. Yeah, or if Oregon wasn't in the Northwest, man, Oregon. If they was in Southern California, if they swapped out Oregon with USC and they still had Nike behind them, Oregon would be a top football and basketball school. But I don't think a lot of people want to go up to the Northwest with all all that woods and forest land and all that stuff they got going on up there. A lot of guys skeptical going up there, but I had a college friend. She lived in Portland. She moved from Southern California to Portland, in the Oregon area. Excuse me. That's where the Simpsons are based at. It's Springfield, Oregon. A lot of people don't know that. Ricky E was going on. Yeah, I'm going live over there. I didn't want to, but yeah, I'm going. I'm getting this out of the way so I ain't got to go live this weekend. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and log off. He said a lot of Pac-12 teams don't get recognized. So yeah. Yeah, man. It's hard to get them kids to go out. The kids out west in football and football, they all go. Over the course of Michigan career, a lot of our best players was from California. Tom Brady. You know, a lot of them, they post a lot of them kids from out west. Shit, if I lived in California, I ain't trying to leave. For real. But it's expensive, especially Silicon Valley in the Bay Area. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and log off. I'm going to do some Lions this week too, man. Maybe tomorrow I'm going to do some Lions content. So, I don't think the Pistons play tonight. So, they played last night. It was good at the one point, and then it just went bad. But, you know, we going through the ugly phase. But I appreciate everybody. Don't forget to share the video. Hit the subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. Don't forget to check my other channel out too. Goodfellas Sports TV right here on YouTube. Appreciate the love, support. We gone.